Welcome back to sunny San Diego. We're out here watching surfers, getting ideas. There's no better environment to learn about surfing than here at the beach in San Diego. So as you can see, we've got Nicole starting off with the surfer lap pool. We're already familiar with this exercise from your course, but we're gonna build on it just a little bit. It's a great exercise to warm up all these different joints of the body. And you can see Nicole, she's already going into the long levered, high, like impact variations, high intensity. She's got a high kneeling variation. She's got long levers. So if you've got somebody who's less than crazy athletic like Nicole, you might modify with this lower position or even a driving back with the elbow position. So you shorten the lever. So there's one extreme to the other. Now what you can see her doing is getting into that transverse plane. And as we go right back into more of a surfer lap pull where she drives her hands down, you'll see why this is a good exercise that mimics paddling out. So it's not actually surfing. A lot of people think it looks like surfing, but if you look out there, you're not going to see anybody surfing on their knees unless they're on a knee board. So this is more paddling out, getting past the breakers, settling in, and watching for the next swells to come in. So that's a nice warm-up for any of the surfing components. Next, we'll go into our specific exercise today, which is the dive bomber. A real fun, exciting exercise. And Nicole is a champ at the dive bomber. She's like a dive bomberette. So what she's going to do is we'll start with a couple variations. The first one is to keep the glide board closed, meaning that it's stable. And I can even keep my hand here, which is going to stabilize it even further. She's going to have her shoulders right below her hands. Nice. She's got great flexibility through the back and the hamstring. So she's going to dive down, leading with the head, scooping up through cervical extension, down through thoracic and lumbar extension. So it's basically, if you know the dive bomber, it's going to be just like the dive bomber on the ground, except we're using the incline for a little bit of assistance. Nice exercise to kind of mimic that popping up from the lying position on the surfboard to the wave, or even more like the duck dives that they do to go under the wave to get out. So the next variation would be just hand variations. And we think about those three planes, sagittal, frontal, transverse. We just made a sagittal plane tweak by bringing her right hand forward. A lot of times your hands aren't going to be exactly squared, so you want to create these variations. You could obviously go through the other variations, and if you wanted to get fancy, you could do internal and external rotation with the hands as well. Next variation will be to open the glide board. So now we have a sagittal plane instability. She's going to dive bomb down, extend up. So really nice exercise for the front of the shoulder, the triceps. You get a whole lot out of this. And then each time you tweak your hand positions, you're going to get a little bit different line of gravity coming through the body, along with all the forces coming through the shoulders as well. So it's just a big tweak, and you can see it can be really tricky. So next we'll go into what Nicole showed me, which is a real nice way to kind of sequence this into a kind of a superset. Is she goes into open up the chest. So some of these lateral plank positions, but making it a little more dynamic because there's movement, because there's not a lot of stillness on the surfboard, is she's going to get a nice stretch through the chest. She's going to get a nice dynamic stability challenge through the trunk, and you can use your cues, pulling the belly button, any of the bracing that you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with. Excellent. So it's a nice way to superset it with, come back to another dive bomb set, take a rest, whichever. However, Nicole, again, she's an ultra athlete, so we're going to challenge her to try the advanced variation of a dive bomber. So this is the crazy dive bomber, meaning that it's an incline. Her feet are going to be up. We're going to open up the glide board as well. So just show you the other end of the spectrum here. And she's going to dive down. She's going to really try to stabilize through the trunk and protect the back. We want to work in a pain-free range of motion. If she has any back pain or she shows me any sign that she's fatigued through that eccentric phase, then I would call it quits. So take a break there. There you go. Bring your hands in. So those are some nice little tricks that you can do. There are other things you can do as well with your hands. You can put, if you have those half foam rollers you can use, put those on the ground as well for a stability tweak, because remember that the surfboard is not stable like the ground. It's going to have variation in the water. So upside down Bosu balls, even Bosu balls upside down on the glide board as well, will help create more of an unstable environment. So you're trying to mimic that environment. If you want to go the opposite way and make it a little bit easier, stay with solid objects, or maybe even medicine balls that don't move too much, but there's something that you can grab your hands with and really get them on there and have a little bit of roll there, but not too much. So that's surfing, Gravity this season. We'll see you next time.